Selling a house can be very stressful, especially when you are under time and financial pressure, and your house might not be in the best condition. Now, throughout my career, I've helped countless people by providing strategies for dealing with stress and anxiety. While these methods can help, they don't change the reality of what homeowners need in addition to coping skills, and that's a way to sell their house as is. A way that is transparent and done without pressure and anxiety. To help homeowners, many of whom are at threshold moments in their lives, I've become the spokesperson of a company I trust can help. It's called Sundae. Now, Sundae's mission is the same as mine, to help people, so partnering with them is a natural fit. Sundae was created to provide people, perhaps at very vulnerable moments in their lives, a solid option for selling their home at a fair price as is. So joining me now is the CEO of Sundae, Josh Steck. So Josh, welcome.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So Josh, I'm really curious, why did you see the need to start Sundae? What prompted you to do this?
Yeah.
Why this?
So I've actually spent my entire career in the residential real estate industry. I started off fixing and flipping houses in Las Vegas. Then I switched to providing loans to people that were doing that same business. And over the course of about 10 years, I kind of had this aha moment. And that was that the people that were being put in a position of having to sell their home into the kind of property investment category were typically doing so not because they wanted to, but because they needed to. You know, whether it was the loss of a loved one, some sort of financial stress, or just the need to move quickly and suddenly, they were being forced to kind of transact with somebody that kind of didn't have their best interest in mind. It was actually really brought to a head when I was speaking to an acquaintance of mine who was explaining how well business was going, and he was explaining an example of a deal he had just done. He put a home under contract for $100,000, and then he found somebody to buy it a few days later for $190,000. So he made $90,000 in a few days. And I just thought to ask the follow-up question, who was the seller? What was their situation? Turned out that it was somebody who had just lost her husband and needed to move into full-time care. And when I asked him, you know, do you think that maybe she needed more than $100,000, maybe she deserved some of that $90,000 that you took? He looked at me square in the eyes and said, that's all she said she needed. And I just knew there was a huge problem on our hands. And this doesn't just happen once or twice or a dozen times a year. Hundreds of thousands of homeowners every year find themselves in the situation where it's an unfamiliar transaction having to sell your house. You don't really know what it's worth, and you need the money from it quickly. And there is this entire population of people that really just take advantage of that. So after about 10 years, I realized that if we can put a company in between these two people, the seller of a home that needs some work and that needs to be sold quickly, with these property investors who do need to perform the service of renovating the home so it's ready for somebody to move in, if we can actually put a company in between that creates a standard and a set of rules that makes that interaction fair for both sides, we could do really well and do a lot of good. So it was sort of 10 years in the making of just being in the industry and hearing customer stories and realizing there needs to be a marketplace to facilitate the sale of these homes in a more fair and transparent way.
So tell me, how is Sundae different from these other real estate companies like iBuyers, for example?
Sure. The biggest difference is with an iBuyer, you get one offer. With Sundae, you can get up to dozens of offers. And that's really why we know that we can get you the highest price. We can get you fair price competition. The second thing is this idea of what you're going to walk away at the closing table with. How much is that? With an iBuyer, you don't know until the closing table. The price they give you is the gross sale price. And what they often do is they remove repairs later in the process, like a lot of other companies out there. And that's just something that we feel is absolutely, it's just the wrong thing to do. It sets a seller up for failure. It sets them up to think they're going to have more money than they really are. It's our mission to tell them, we're going to get you fair price competition. We're also going to show you exactly what you're going to walk away with. None of that bait and switch.
When an offer comes in, it is a secured offer and it's the real number.
Yeah.
And it is a right now close as early as 10 days if they need to, but they can have more time if they want. It's as is. It's not a contingent offer. And you can even help them empty out the house of things that they can walk off and leave them there.
That's it.
And I did not find another company that checks all of those boxes.
Yeah.
That's a huge differentiator, if I understand it correctly. And they can turn around and walk away. Doesn't cost them one dime.
Not one dime. Dr. Phil, Sundae's mission is to help homeowners in their time of need, when they're most vulnerable and need the most help. How does your mission align with Sundae's?
Well, I would think that that would be the place that we really overlay one another as much as anything, because people don't write in to me to let me know how well things are going. They write in when they're in distress, maybe at the darkest hour of their life, when they're really in need of guidance, support. Maybe they're just lost and don't know what to do next. And I really saw that in the business model of Sundae, where they said, okay, we realize this is a difficult time. And so, as I said, the model seemed to anticipate, from looking at it through the seller's eyes, these are all the pressure points. What can we do to alleviate that? What can we do to take those things away and put them in the best position coming out of the process they can be, which is my mission. We can't change the reality, but how can we get through it as intact as possible? And that's what I saw happening with Sundae. And I was really, really impressed with the transparency of the process, because people really get uncomfortable if there's something behind the curtain. And to me, Sundae pulled the curtain back and said, okay, look, we're just going to be transparent from day one, minute one. Here's what's happening. You can see every step of the process, every step of the way, and you don't have to make a decision until you see the bottom line, and then you can decide. Knowledge is power, and
Absolutely.
I just cannot see a downside. Taking 2 or 3 days to learn everything there is to know about their house.
That's right.
And get 10 offers on it, if that's a downside, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. And you also just have somebody who's on your side finally. I think I know a lot of the sellers that come to us have felt like they've been alone for a while in trying to shoulder the problems and challenges that they have. And what you find with Sundae is somebody who's willing to kind of muscle up to those problems and tackle them with you. You also get an advocate, more than just offers an inspection and knowledge. You get somebody who cares.
Yeah. Well, Josh, I am proud to put on the Sundae jersey and spread this word. So Thanks for taking this time to talk to me about it.
Well, we're very lucky to have you.
I appreciate it.